Welcome to Bats News, your one-stop source for all the latest updates from around the world. In today's deep dive, we're turning our focus to the Middle East, a region rich in history, culture, and unfortunately, conflict. Our spotlight today is on the Israel-Palestine issue, a conflict that has spanned decades and continues to shape the geopolitical landscape of the region. Recently, tensions have escalated and the situation has turned grave. Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities of this conflict, its recent developments, and its impacts on the people living through it. The Israel-Palestine conflict, a perennial issue that has spanned decades, continues to shape the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Recently, tensions have escalated into a full-blown war, resulting in significant casualties on both sides. The Israeli-Hamas war has seen over 1,000 Israeli citizens and at least 900 individuals in Gaza lose their lives, turning cities into battlefields and homes into ruins. Israel has regained control over towns near Gaza, a development reported by local television stations. In response to Israel's actions, Palestinian militants launched rockets targeting Tel Aviv and the Ben Gurion International Airport. These actions have led to a state of high alert across the region, with rocket warning sirens echoing in towns like Ashkelon. The international community is not merely a silent spectator. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei took to social media to criticize Israel. On the other hand, a plane carrying American ammunition landed in Israel to support their defense efforts, reflecting the United States' continued support for Israel. This was further emphasized in a conversation between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Joe Biden. However, the narrative is not one-sided. The Gallup poll indicates a shift in American sympathies. Sympathy towards Palestinians among US adults is at a new high, while the proportion not favoring either side is at a new low. This shift in public opinion is more significant among Democrats, reflecting the broader political divide in the US. Despite these changing perceptions, the situation on the ground for Palestinians living under Israeli occupation remains unchanged. Jerusalem, a city sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, remains a flashpoint in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Recently, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a sensitive site in the conflict, witnessed violent clashes between Palestinians and Israeli riot police. The clashes resulted in significant injuries and stoked fears of a wider conflict. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex issue deeply rooted in history, religion, and politics. The recent escalation has brought the issue back into the global spotlight, prompting calls for peace and a resolution to the decades-long dispute. It is crucial to remember that behind the geopolitical chess game are real people whose lives are being impacted every day. In the face of conflict, it's important to remember that there are real people behind the headlines, individuals living through these events day by day, hour by hour. Let's take a moment to hear some of their stories. Voiceover. Meet Fatima, a Palestinian mother of 3 who lives in Gaza. She tells us about the fear she feels every time her children leave the house, never knowing if they'll return safely. On the other side of the conflict is David, an Israeli father who also expresses his worries for his family's safety amidst the rocket attacks. Their stories may be different, but their feelings of fear, uncertainty, and longing for peace are universal. As we delve into these personal narratives, we're reminded of the human cost of this conflict. It's not just about land, politics, or religion, it's about people, their homes, their families, their lives. These stories underscore the urgency for a peaceful resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. In the next scene, we will summarize the recent events and reiterate our call for peace. Stay tuned. In summary, the recent events in the Israel-Palestine conflict have seen a significant escalation in violence, leading to a high number of casualties. The international community's response has been varied, with some supporting Israel's right to defend itself and others criticizing its actions. A shift in American public opinion towards greater sympathy for Palestinians has been noted. However, on the ground, the situation for Palestinians remains dire. The importance of peace in this region cannot be overstated, not just for the Israelis and Palestinians, but for the world at large.